Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sunday edition. Yeah.
Emphatic.
Yeah. I got to work on that automation intro. It just faded out really quickly.
Really quickly. Like abruptly.
Yeah.
Now we're all awkward.
But we're in beta version, so it's okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios in the bunker and on top of the mountain where Beer Baron is and Scotty from his Palatial Estates in Beverly Hills. Hey, you know what? To each their own.
Oh.
He just wants a one-bedroom apartment in Beverly Hills. That's okay. It's probably more than our mortgages combined, Beer Baron.
It's like a Melrose Place type of setup. He's got this a courtyard in the middle where he meets up with random strangers, and they have
at a pool.
Nefarious, all sorts of stuff. I never watch a show, but I imagine it'd be like your life, right, Scott?
That's what I thought I was moving to, but no, that's not the real case. No. Yeah.
It's just a guy with one leg. He sits out there and complains a lot.
Yeah.
So hot.
My neighbor's an Elvis impersonator. That's basically the highlight of my. No joke. It is.
That's fantastic. And does he ever come over for like holiday parties? And he's like, and you're like, come on, Mitch, do the thing. He's like, oh man, come on, man.
All right, come on, Danny. Give me a little TCB, a little ho. Yeah.
TCB.
Here's a high life.
I love it.
Give me a little TCB. Here's a high life.
You can't give away the champagne and beer, man. I mean, I know we're on a 12-game heater right now, but you can't just be throwing away.
Do you want me to go on a 2-shot, Scotty?
Maybe, yeah, just for a second.
All right.
Let me go see what the.
Originally, we were supposed to have a 2-shot of, me and Scotty in case Beer Baron, starts coughing.
Yeah, well, it's almost happened right now because I was laughing really hard. I got to tell you, much like Michael Jordan, I was watching the Devils game with the flu. So I had my own flu game, and I fared pretty well watching them win in convincing fashion yesterday at 1:00 in the afternoon, which is always exciting to have like an afternoon game.
Oh, yeah.
Although it always feels like the evening is kind of empty. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I was pretty pumped to watch yesterday's game and see them win their 12th game in a row. And thank God for the Devils right now, right? The Giants laying a giant stinker today kind of ruined my Sunday. But I'm still in a good mood because we're on a 12-game heater. I'll say it again. It's pretty nice.
Oh, it's very nice. You know what? And we were joking before the podcast. It was like, when was the last time we said that? Oh, thank goodness we have the Devils playing. You know, Giants suck, Jets suck. You know, the Mets suck. Yankees just got bounced out. You know, but we got our Devils. They're relevant.
Devils, baby.
First place in the Metropolitan Division. I can't wait for the upcoming games. The upcoming games, Beer Baron. And I'll tell you, like this upcoming week, you got the Oilers, you got the Leafs, and then you've got Thanksgiving. Then you go up to Buffalo in the 6 feet of snow. And then you come back in the Capitals. The Capitals that's always given the Devils some trouble. And then I looked ahead at the schedule. Then you got the Rangers the following week on that Monday at Madison Square Garden. And then I looked even further, December 23rd against the Boston Bruins at home. That's going to be a matchup.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like the Devils are they're in a good place right now in this 12-game winning streak because they haven't won exactly the same in any of these games. I feel like they win different ways, right? Like if you take last or yesterday's game, for example.
69 Mega Love is back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we're loving their win streak right now, 69 Mega.
Yeah, put user in timeout. Let's see what else I'm doing here. Report. This time I'm going to say
offensive language. Offensive language.
Maybe 12-game heater is sort of like porn code or something like that.
All right. Promotes terrorism.
There's so many jokes I could say, but I won't.
I know. I thought of about 3 or 4. I was like, nope, don't say that. Don't say that.
Nope,
don't say that.
Family friendly.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Anthony in the YouTube group just said, I watched the Edmonton Vegas game last night. Even though they won in OT, I'm actually more concerned about Toronto than I am Edmonton. Edmonton is a good team in the sense that like they will undress you in 69 Mega.
Great. Now you're gonna bring 69 Mega back there. Jeez.
Come on.
It's supposed to be a family-friendly podcast.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
Edmonton can dance all over the ice and make you look silly. But
Steven Engel, the
the wood of jokes. Wood of jokes.
Miles Wood? Oh, Miles Wood.
What? Miles Wood, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, for the last 4 years, I don't know. I can't remember how long I've been getting my ass kicked in fantasy hockey. My team name is Miles of Wood. And my picture is the infamous picture of our good friend Wood, R.I.P. But anyways, moving along to the Devils playing the Edmonton Oilers coming up tomorrow. The Oilers scare me because they can put up goals in bunches. But the thing that doesn't scare me about the Oilers is their defense and their goaltending. So they're a team that you can go tit for tat with. I agree with Toronto. Like I felt like Toronto
for tat right now, huh? You had to say
tit
for tat, huh? Jeez, here it comes.
I mean,
69 Mega coming back.
Yeah, maybe they're a new sponsor. Who knows? But you look at
money's money, guys.
Money's free. I'm
trying to get that private jet.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
you guys want travel. They want travel to these tickets that we're giving away. You know, like I guess we got to get money any way we can there. You know.
I tell you, but the team that did scare me the most out of this 12-game stretch is definitely the Toronto Maple Leafs.
The Leaves.
The Leaves. No, it's the Leafs. It's not the Leaves.
The Leafs.
It's not the Leafs.
Not a real
So
word.
like
The Leaves.
The Leafs. Who owns the Jets? Owns.
Owns. What did he say? Owns. Gonna get a slap shot.
They scare me
all night.
I know, right? They scared me the most during that 12-game stretch so far. But what's funny is like, in the past, if the Devils went on a winning streak or if they were putting a couple games together, you were like, all right, here's going to be the game that's going to let down. They don't feel like they're in that situation right now. They don't feel like they're going to have a game that's going to be a total letdown because they feel like even when they screw something up, they don't fall into their old ways or they don't fall into the old traps like they used to. They start to rebound and they figure it out relatively quickly. In period adjustments, I don't know if anybody else has been noticing this, have been huge. Because the other night, who the hell were they playing? Was it the Toronto game where they came out and Vanacek basically kept them in that game the entire time in the first period where he had like 15 saves? And then they came out in the second period and boom, boom, like they start to figure it out. So, yeah, there's a lot going on.
I mean, I think a great team to look at right now is the team we just played, the Ottawa Senators, who have a lot of young talent, but their defense is Swiss cheese, much like how we were a few years ago. And we're putting that all together now. And these things aren't affecting us anymore. And I think you're right. They are able to make those in-game adjustments. We used to go crazy with the Hines lines when John Hines was always screwing up the lines left and right. Lindy seems to have a pretty good thing going now where we have our kind of set structure, but he's not afraid to shake it up in the second or third period a little bit. And sometimes it doesn't even last the whole period, like he'll just shake it up for a little bit. And the guys now are actually able to play with each other the way John Hines wished we could play back then, where he could just shuffle anyone and you should be able to play with anybody at any place. Like now that kind of is the case. Like you can move like a Dawson Mercer up or down. You can move an Eric Halla up or down. You could, if you wanted to pop, even though they are so good together, those three, the Beef MW line, but you could move Miles Wood somewhere else. But you can move them somewhere else, if you really wanted to. Even Bastion, like he has been working wonders. I mean, we were calling for it since the beginning of the season. We're like, why isn't he on PP1 parked in front of the net? Even on the PP1, Bastion and Zetterlund have been flipping in and out in recent games. And there's been no detriment to the team when they're doing that. It's next man up. What's my position? Where am I playing? And I think a lot of that has to do with the quality of leadership that we have now, with Nico Hischier being the full-rounded player that he is, really coming to form, playing a 60-minute game, playing in all times. And I know Sam Wu will bring it up, even though he's injured right now, but Palat has been huge in keeping this team structure. Eric Halla as well. Those veterans, Brendan Smith, who is playing, those bottom time minutes there with Damon Severson on the third pairing. But man, when he is out there, he is ready to go. And I'm sure these guys are pushing them in practice, a la, maybe not as much as old Scotty Stevens used to run people, in practice, keep your head up, but I'm sure they're pushing these guys hard. And Jack Hughes, like we were talking about it the other day on Devils After Dark, right, Sam? We're watching a lot of these boys become men right in front of our eyes.
Especially Jack Hughes. He's not fooling around right now.
No.
I mean,
he was pissed the other day. I loved it. Remember Sam Wu? He was pissed in that Toronto game.
Yeah. There's, I'm trying to look over. Supernova was saying that Glad Halla got his first goal, and I agree 100%. Getting Halla started, that would be Halla. That would be great if we can get him going.
Too.
Tatar. I mean, there's a lot of people that are contributing, and that's what's great about it. Yeah, the top guys are playing like the top guys, like Nico, Jack, Jesper, right? All the guys that you want or need to contribute are contributing, but you're also getting secondary scoring from, Sharon Govich, who should be doing exactly what he's doing. And he's also Sharon Govich's game is really evolving. Like, he's playing on the PK. He's not just scoring goals like the old Sharon Govich, like right in the high slot, like ripping a heater. He's scoring in different ways. He's becoming ripping a heater, just ripping heaters. 12-game heater, ripping a heater.
Do we have any flatulence sound effects there, Sam Wu, that we can pull out for ripping a heater there?
Ripping a heater. But and yes, I do agree. Mercer needs to score more goals. Mercer will get there. I'm not really worried about him because the rest of his game has been pretty solid, and he is tenacious on the puck, dude. Like, he is one of those cats that's going in the corner. He's mucking it up in front of the net. He'll get a couple goals, and like they'll start to come for him. The one thing that a lot of people were talking about, especially in this past game, was the lack of a bruiser out there, or the lack of somebody that's going to go out there and keep people accountable. What the hell was his name yesterday for Ottawa? Austin Watson, that scumbag, putting a bunch of dirty hits out on Nico and a couple other guys. Like, listen, do you want someone like Miles Wood to go over there and rattle his cage, or have Brandon Smith go out there and do the same? 100%. But you also have to think about it like this, like, that dude's doing that on purpose because he wants to throw you off your game. And it sucks. Like, you don't want to be a superstar and get ragdolled out there. Like, Jack Hughes has gotten run over a few times in the last couple games. And yes, you would like to have somebody go out there, but you don't want to have a hole in your lineup, especially when everything is rolling so nicely. Like, you don't want to have Miles Wood go, "Hey, Miles, we've really needed you in some of these key situations, but go out there and fight so we lose you for 5 minutes on the ice." Or, God forbid, get a game misconduct because the referees feel like pulling that on you tonight. So, I mean, I know somebody wants retribution out there, but you can't sacrifice the better of the good.
The difference, I think the difference is right now. I didn't think the hit on Siegenthaler was dirty. I thought it was just a good, clean, open check. But the hit on Nico was a cheap shot, no doubt.
Yes, 100%.
That was a cheap shot, 100%. And I know I was saying it on Devils After Dark. I had it written in my notes. Someone please line him up and lay him out. That's when you're praying for like a Nikita Hoytuk who hits everything at every point of the game, to be on your team. But at the same time, this Devils team and Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes especially have been getting their payback on the scoreboard. And Nico did yesterday in the Sens game. He got his payback with a nice assist there. Who did he set up? I can't even remember now. Who was it? Sam Wu.
Sharon Govich?
Sharon Govich, that's right. Sharon Govich. That's where they're making them pay, which is a little bit different now. And I like it that Jack Hughes has taken a couple hits, and Sam and I have talked about it. He looks pissed out there. And I've seen him try to throw the body around a little bit.
But when you weigh 185 pounds,
But
Beer Baron, still, he's doing it, though.
Beer Baron makes a great point because, and we could debate this because I have a little bit different opinion on it. I agree with Beer Baron. It's you don't want to have a hole in the lineup. You got everything going, but this is what happens, and I'll say this with the New York Mets. They started beaning the players to the point where the Mets led the league in most hits batsmen. And part of it is if you don't respond, they're going to keep on hitting Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier until somebody gets hurt.
It's true.
It's a difficult balance. You know what I mean? And I agree with you, Beer Baron. But at some point, if it keeps on happening, you're gonna have to take someone out if the league's not going to cut down on it. I mean, that's
you have guys.
Go ahead.
You have guys that could step in. You have Nate Bastian that could step in. You have Miles Wood that could step in. You have Brandon Smith that could step in. You have a host of other guys that could go in there and fight. But the thing
you
is,
don't even need to fight. You just need to throw a big monster check. I mean, Zetterlund. I don't remember. I think
or,
it was Hammond.
Or you score a goal.
Knocked on his ass. Well, that's what they've been doing is scoring goals. I mean, let's not forget they won 5-1. You know, that game was really in. There was maybe 30 seconds of that game where it was like, are the Sens going to make a little run here? And Devils are like, nah, hold my drink.
Bill Spaulding.
We're gonna score like 30 seconds later. Yeah, I mean that's what they've been doing. They've been responding instead of us giving up those goals, which we've done in recent years, where every time we score, we're like, yes, let's change this momentum. Damn it, we just gave up a goal right after that. It's been completely flip-flopped, where we're the ones that are like, oh, that's cute. You thought you were gonna score a goal and change the tide of the game. Hang on, Jesper Bratt's got something to say.
Yeah,
you know, Nico Hischier's got something to say. Jack Hughes has got something to say. We have some legitimate superstars on this team. And let me tell you, man, that's going to make us awfully sexy to some free agents that, you know, maybe on the prowl in the upcoming years as well. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Listen, I was wishing Nikita Ahoytuk made the team and was in the game for that Senators game because I know he would have ran right at Watson. Sam Wu suggested that we fly Mason Gearston in so he can just, you know, be in the stands and jump out of the stands, you know, and get on the ice.
I did make that suggestion, actually.
He got suspended for 6 games for doing something similar in the AHL. So I mean,
he's suspended in the AHL, but not the NHL right now.
Not the NHL.
No.
Not the NHL.
Not the NHL.
Come on, Beer Baron. Not the NHL. So, maybe we'll just do that. We'll keep Mason Gearston, you know, right next to the bench in the stands, you know, have like a little like player door for him through the ice where he can just kind of shoot on through and then take care of business.
Yeah. You know, I love the old days where you would hold somebody accountable. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that this is what it is, boys. No, we have to adapt to it. And this is how the Devils are going to have to be. And they're going to get ragdolled around the ice. And then the team is going to go out and get a Ryan Reeves and like completely
goon.
Oh my goodness. He's got all the good one-liners. He's going to be on the podcast tomorrow at America.
I mean, Bruce Springsteen was already put into Prime Minister of Canada. I don't know if you heard about that. I mean, we annexed Alberta, we annexed Ontario. You know, we took over Quebec. So, I mean, really, Manitoba and Winnipeg are the only ones left. So, you know.
And soon they'll be ours.
Yeah. So no, I agree. I wanted someone to lay Watson out after the hit on Nico. I didn't think I thought the Siegenthaler hit was just a big hit. I didn't think it was really dirty. It was just a big clean hit, much like Zetterlund's hit on Hamonic when he sent him flying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was. I don't know if it was. No, because that was. I think it was Kevin Weeks actually. Because out here in LA. I don't know if the game was on MSG back in Jersey, but out here in LA, it was only on the NHL. It was only on the NHL network. And Kevin Weeks was just talking about Fabian Zetterlund. I mean, dude's 5'11", like 225.
And just
he's a freight train. Yeah, dude. He is a freight train. So that's a dude that, you know, I'd love to see start throwing the body as well a little bit. And I think that'll come for him. Don't forget, this is only his like 10th, 11th game, you know, in the NHL. So I think that'll come a little bit. You're starting to see it a little bit more. But yeah, I was right there with you, man. I wish Ball or Hoytuk or Wood or Bastian really like stepped to Watson, you know, in the Sens game. But at the same time, they made him pay on the scoreboard. And that's where it really counts.
I think that's, you know what, if you're going to win or if you're going to get beat up or like stupid stuff like that's going to happen on the ice, at least they're winning. Because if they were losing and that was happening too, it would be unacceptable. It would be absolutely unacceptable. I'd be like, dude, you're getting your asses kicked both, you know, on the score sheet and on the ice. You got to go out there and do something. But I think they're doing it the right way. You don't want to sacrifice what's going on. You don't want to also not think about this. Like, I know some people don't think about, you know, you're in a fight. You get somebody like Miles Wood in a fight, right? He goes to punch somebody in the top of the head, catches him on the helmet, and he breaks his knuckle. Or does something like that. Or like as he's in a scuffle with somebody, you know, hyperextends his elbow when he falls on the ice. I know it sounds like really ridiculous, but at the same time, like you don't want to risk what we have going on. What's so funny
Ottawa is now called New Trenton.
It probably smells about the same too. So
Maybe, yeah. Halifax is now part of the Jersey Shore. Nova Scotia is now Nova Jersey.
There you go.
No, but I mean, I agree, and I think when's the next time we play the Sens?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'll look. You guys
All
talk.
right, thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
So, Scotty, what is
there's always another game for that sort of stuff as well. Those memories aren't going to be too short on that one, especially the hit on Nico. Like I said, the Siegenthaler one I thought was just a big monster check. It looked like he caught him in the shoulder. Siegs got back up. I think it looked worse on the initial play, the initial view than it actually was. But the Nico one, man, that pissed me off because that was a shot right to the unprotected part where there's no padding, and I thought that was just a complete cheap shot.
March 25th.
March 25th. Mark it on your calendars.
Yeah, at the Rock.
Oh,
be there or be square.
Yeah.
Said with such.
I'm thinking there might be some retribution there.
Be there.
I think I'll probably forget by then, by March 25th.
Yeah, because we'll be on like a 14, 15, 16, 20, 30 game heater, something like that.
Yeah, and Ottawa's in last place.
Yeah, Ottawa's going to be in last place, so. Man, their defense was terrible, man. Even Stützle, who's, I think is going to have a really good future in the NHL. He had that play that set up the Sharangovich shorty. Man, they had, how many was it, Sam? It was like 27 giveaways they had in the game the other day.
Yeah.
The Sens, woo, baby. You cannot win hockey games playing.
Kind of reminds me of the 2019
New Jersey Devils.
Yeah. Yeah. Just give away the puck. Disorganized turnovers.
Tripping over your own feet. I'm surprised the Senators didn't score a butt puck goal or anything like that.
69 Mega will sponsor that game. Oh, man.
Mega. It's good times. So I want to talk about something, and I'll bring up the question to both of you because during this 12-game streak, what is
give him the heater, Jack.
Give him the heater.
Give him the heater.
What about that curveball, Ricky? Give him the heater.
Give him the heater, Jack.
What has been the most surprising part of this whole 12-game run to you?
Ooh, man, surprising.
And that's a question for everybody out there. What's the surprising? What is the surprising?
I think that's an easy answer in general. I'll give the general one. Obviously, it's the goaltending because we've been so, just.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I had to say, oh my goodness, said they could play two national anthems, Star Spangled Banner followed by Living on a Prayer. That got me good. Sorry, go on.
Mother.
Go on. Woo.
Play some Danzig. Mother, tell your children not to go to Lodi. I think obviously goaltending has been the biggest surprise for us because we're not used to having goaltenders who actually stop the puck. Yep. And, I don't know if anyone expected 8 straight wins from Vitek Vanacek coming out here. We were all excited about acquiring him. And what he did with the Capitals last year in his time, which was brought about by an injury, but his time as the number one goaltender over there. But coming in, there was no designation with Blackwood. And that's another thing, too. Blackwood, we've seen so much inconsistency with him through the past couple years. Who would have thunk that Blackwood would have been so solid, before he got dinged up?
Yep.
But, Blackwood was playing great again. It's a very a very small sample size, but I know me and Sam talked about on Devils After Dark, his head was in every single game. There were plenty of times in recent years where it looked like he was like chasing butterflies out there for a little bit. Like he was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm playing a hockey game. Who cares? You know, this year he looked in it to win it, you know, and maybe that was because he knew Vanacek was right there and we brought him in for that reason. To be the 1A, 1B type of thing, like, hey, whoever's the hot hand, we're going with. Nothing is guaranteed anymore. You know, before it was like, oh, Mackenzie Blackwood. Oh, yeah, he might make the Canadian national team. Oh, he's a big prospect. Oh, he's got all this potential. Oh, yeah, well, okay, cool. Yeah, it's me. Yeah. Oh, you found someone else who can play really well? That's not just a aging veteran? Oh, okay. Someone else you can kind of, you know, sign and have here for a number of years? Not a Corey Crawford or a Jonathan Bernier? Oh, okay, I better step up my game then.
Yeah.
So for me, it's definitely been the goal take. I don't know if that's the obvious answer. I'll try to think of a more, you know,
I'd like to further that point. Further that point was
laces out, Marino.
I'm going to further that point with the goaltending. How about Vanacek coming in when Mackenzie Blackwood went down, and then Schmid went in.
Kira Schmid, yeah.
When Vanacek went down cold in the heat of the game, and turned out to be 2 victories.
Of the moment. Yeah, he did.
And then
against Edmonton too.
Yeah,
that was the Edmonton game. Goody! McDavid and Draisaitl, just who I want to go in ice cold on. Yay!
Well,
and he stood there.
I would like to point out a couple of the what some of the people out there are saying. Mr. Moo Guy 91 said Nico Marino being so damn good. Supernova says goaltending. Sharon Wilkinson says contributions from up and down every line. Stephen Angle said, "How come there's no hockey team in Saskatchewan?" It's a good question. Good question. But back to everything
Moose,
else.
Right? Isn't that
Dave Singer says his big surprise has been John Marino averaging over 300 yards and 2 TDs per game.
Yes,
that's probably the biggest surprise. Anthony says goaltending, Nico, and definitely Marino. Marino has been a steal, and we've talked about that, like the insane deal that we got for one John Marino. Marino's
we need to go to our Let's Go Devils podcast studio for a quick update with the king of the football call, Sam Wu.
Was I supposed to do something there?
No, it's fine. We'll just continue. We're just going to keep going, Sam. Keep going.
Jeez.
You messed it up.
What a letdown.
Goofed it up.
I mean, Fitzy, I think Fitzy, you know, threw the Hail Mary and scored the touchdown with both Vanacek and John Marino. Those 2 acquisitions. And remember
Siegenthaler.
how
let's not forget Siegenthaler.
Yeah,
he got Siegenthaler for a 3rd-round pick. Yeah,
but
that was a couple years ago. That was a couple years ago.
It doesn't matter. It's still
I'm talking about now.
Beer Baron. Siegenthaler?
Live in the moment.
Plus 16. Plus 16.
Yeah, I know.
Playing against top lines. Not getting that power play time. Getting the PK time. And he's a plus 16. I know some people don't like the old plus minus stat. As a man of Stevens and Niedermeyer and Danico, I love that statistic. Because those are guys that would play against top lines every single night they were out there, and their plus minuses were ridiculous.
Yeah, Angelo saying
I don't put everything into it, but I think it's a nice stat. Plus 16 for Jonas Siegenthaler.
Yeah, Angelo said greatest goalie in the world can only do so much without a decent defense in front of him, and I agree. Siegenthaler's been outstanding. Hamilton has played like the guy that we were hoping to get when we got him in the offseason. Marino has been better than advertised. You think about, and Severson, this is what's cool. Severson is playing pretty damn good. And it's almost unnoticeable. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like he has to be that top pairing defenseman with Andy Green. We've talked about this. We talked about how he might be the sacrificial lamb to try to go out and get a scoring winger to add to this team.
Yeah.
But
100%.
you look at the defensive play overall has been stellar. And I mean, like the team, I feel like the only hiccup that the team has right now is their the penalty kill. And it's not that it's bad. It's just that it's not as consistent as the rest of the team, or it's not as consistent as everything else. It's not bad.
Well, I don't know
it just could be improved.
I don't know if it's the penalty kill more than the amount of penalties they're taking in some games. Because when they take a normal amount of penalties, don't forget, they went 6 for 6 against the Edmonton Oilers. Not easy thing to do over there. They scored a shorty, last night yesterday afternoon rather, against the Sens. They've scored some shorties this year. Instead of getting them scored upon us like the past couple. Remember last year we were getting outscored our own power. We tried declining penalties at one point. We're like, can we decline the penalty and just play 5-on-5? Yeah. But this year everything is flipped. These guys, everything is clicking for them. And I think a lot of it, it has to do with, Lindy, of course, but I think Burnett, McGill, Sarge, I think these assistant coaches, are making a world of difference on this team right now. And no disrespect to Recchi and Coach Naz. Nasruddin went through a lot with this team. No disrespect to them, but I think it was just maybe time for, some fresh voices in the room. And you saw what McGill did in Vegas, Burnett with the Florida Panthers as an interim, after Quinville got let go after that whole scandal.
Yep.
And Burnett stepped in there and he did an incredible job.
Well, there was also rumors that Vancouver wanted Burnett and had to be to take over their head coaching position when eventually they, part ways with what is that? Barry Trotz up there. Where the hell is up there?
No,
not Barry Trotz. It's not Trotz. It's come on,
Humpty.
man. Yeah, my brain's not working. I am still battling the flu. Come on, somebody out there help us out, for crying out loud. Anyways, yes. The coaching staff has made a huge point. I think when they played the Leafs, I don't know if it was the coach that said it or one of the players said it, but they were basically saying, like when you can roll Miles Wood out on your fourth line, you're doing pretty damn good. I mean, and that's a true statement because Miles Wood shouldn't be a fourth liner, but it's not like the old days where you'd put that fourth line out there and then be like, all right, let's see if they're going to take a penalty or let's see if they're going to, do something stupid or cost us a goal.
Our fourth line's been more consistent than the third line recently.
Boudreau, thank you. Boudreau, thank you.
Yes, Bruce Boudreau. Cousin Brucey.
Every single line. Now, NJ Swamp Fox. NJ Swamp Fox.
The
That's a great name,
I don't know about Timo Meier. I don't know. This seems
he's
like
young.
He
has great chemistry with Nico.
Really? Where have you seen that?
When they've played internationally on Team Switzerland.
How often do they do that against NHL?
Often enough.
How often do they do that against NHL caliber
World Cup
talent?
World Cup.
I'm not ready to do that. This is like everyone wanting Lane as well. Like,
no,
it's got to be the right move. It's got to be the absolute right move to put this together. Like I right now, you like Tatar and Zetterlund and Nico have great chemistry going on. Why shake that up?
Yeah, because first of all, Timo Meier he's a great scorer. He's only 26 years old. He does have a lot of chemistry with Nico Hischier because they have played some pretty big games. The Swiss national team, is no laughing matter, and they've had a lot of time to play together over the summer in the last couple of years because both the Sharks and the Devils have sucked so bad that they're usually out of the playoffs by December. So those two, if you could bring in Timo Meier, I think that'd be great. You shake your head. But
I'm looking at his stats here.
Okay. And what do you see that's...
Dude, I see minus 19. That's what I see.
What's the rest
there.
of his line? What's the rest of his line?
I'm saying he's a career minus 19.
Okay. On
So,
some pretty
right
bad
there-
teams in the last couple of years. It has a plus minus sometimes doesn't mean anything. And it can be an overlook.
I'll give you that.
It can be an overblown stat.
All right. So he had, I mean, his high was last year's. He got 35 goals last year. 54 penalty minutes. That's a lot. That's fair. Yeah, it's a fair amount of penalties for a top line winger. So you're talking about someone who 21, 30, 22, 12, 35. This year he's got 8 in 17 games.
Okay.
He's a career minus 19. Career
Dude,
238.
Whistler just said, he said, LOL, Severson is minus 131. So if you want to talk about
I
plus
know.
minus.
Oh, I know. Hey, I'm not out here, I'm championing Jonas Siegenthaler at the plus 16. I'm just saying, if you're going to put this guy out there, you look at a Tatar and a Zetterlund who've been a lot more responsible defensively as well. This is what you're talking about, like chemistry, shaking up the team a little bit. It's got to be the right move. And I think a lot of people might just like jump on a sexy pick over there. And who's to say now, don't forget the old GM for the Sharks, our guy Greer, former assistant coach here with the Devils. So there is a little bit of a connection over there. I'm just not ready to just make a trade to make a trade.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be the right trade.
Timo,
it's got to be the right trade.
I think Timo Nico would be the right trade. If you give up like Severson, because there's the money. So one of your big concerns is like how much it's going to cost and everything else like that, right? Severson is going to take up a good chunk of change, irregardless, right? So if you bring him back, it's going to cost you too much, and if you send him out, you're going to free up whatever money he would have cost you. If you tie that into somebody that could jump on his team and be an instant impact, I think that's worth the trade.
Question: If I'm the Sharks, why would I trade my top line winger for a bottom line defenseman who's a career minus 119?
I mean, that's not up to me to sell it, dude. I'm not the spinster that's going to be
I'm just saying, to get that done, you're gonna have to give up a lot more than just Damon Severson. No one's out there just like, hey, give me Damon Severson for your top line winger. Like that's just not going to happen.
I get it. There's a lot of guys that are going to be free agents next year that are going to be. There's going to be a lot of movement, I think, during this trade deadline. Right? I see Bo Horvat's name kind of getting thrown around. You have a team like the Canucks. You have the team, a couple teams that are in total like rebuild mode. It feels like already. So you do not want to mortgage the future. You do not want to put your team in a tight spot, and you do not want to overpay for somebody because you feel like you want to strike while the iron's hot. But at the same time, if you can bring in somebody like Timo, I think that he would be a good fit to this team. It's just like, listen, this is why I don't get paid to do these decisions. Yeah, I know.
It's going to cost you more than Damon Severson, though. Those. I will trade Damon Severson for your top line winger. Like, no,
I'm not saying it would be a 1-for-1. I'm not saying
it's not going to happen.
1-for-1.
So I mean, you're gonna have to think about parting ways with like a Riley Walsh, and Alexander Holtz.
Okay, we could, and here's the crazy thing is you could part ways with Walsh because you have Nemeth, you have Luke Hughes, you have Seamus Casey, you have what's that other kid in Michigan that they have right now? The other defenseman.
Seamus Casey.
No, besides Seamus
Casey.
Ethan Edwards, who's a stud too. You have defensively, they are stacked right now with defensemen. Mm-hmm. They have a good crop of defensemen.
Mohamed Doolin.
Not forgetting Mohamed Doolin. How could you forget about him?
But what is his trade value right now? Here's the kid who went back to Russia instead of staying in North America. And, one of his years is now being played over there instead of the North American style.
So what? That's
so
not
what?
uncommon anymore.
Why am I going to trade my
It's
top
not
line winger
uncommon
why am I going to trade my top line winger for a kid who may not even come over here to North America to play?
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're wrong. Like you can listen. I'm not saying you're going to get a top line winger for just Damon Severson. Yes, it's going to cost you, just like it would cost you for anything. Like if they're trying to get a defenseman, it would cost them. Like it's gonna. The point being is like they need, in my opinion, they just need that one more offensive threat. We talked about it last week, right? They need to have that one guy that's going to be out there. That's going to be all right. Jack is out there with, I don't know, Vladimir Tarasenko, or Jack is out there with, whomever. And it's like, you can't just defend, one piece of this line. You have to be able to account for multiple parts of it. Like you got to have people that are going to be able to.
What's the name of our show tonight?
So I know it's a 12-game heater. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So take your already awesome product and make it better. It's like putting racing stripes on a car. Boom, it's awesome automatically, right?
Do you know what the Devils? Do you know how much the Devils have outscored their opponents in these games?
Yeah, it's
51
like 15
to 22. 51 to 22. Sam Wu's been keeping track. There's only one game that was like even close, and that was the Toronto game.
Okay.
I'm just saying, don't mortgage the future when things aren't really broken right now, right?
I'm not saying you need to. It would be nice to just add to it. That's it.
We trust. Think about it.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Fitzgerald would be Justin Lee.
He fleeced 2 division rivals in the offseason with Pittsburgh and the Capitals. I think he knows what he's doing. He didn't give up much for Vanacek. He just basically gave a third rounder and swapping picks. And I'm liking Seamus Casey right now. In terms of the John Marino and Ty Smith, that trade, I mean, I wrote about this on pucksandpitchforks.com. I mean, I think that's better than the Taylor Hall trade long term.
Well, it was Ty Smith in a conditional third or a third. I forget if it was a straight up third for John Marino. Whatever it was, whatever he traded for him, he definitely still won that trade.
Especially the contract. 5 years, 4.4. That's a ridiculous contract. It's so cap friendly the way he's performing. I mean, and the best part of it is that Fitzgerald didn't even negotiate that. That was all Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh negotiated that contract. It's a great deal. He comes to the Devils, and right now he's already, one third of this year in, and there's still another 4.5 years.
Here's another question for you. If you bring in Timo, are you prepared to let Jesper walk? Because guess what? Timo's got to be re-signed. And he's already making $6 million a year, which means he's going to be up in the 8s probably, or 9s.
Okay.
So are you willing to put $8 to $9 million on this guy?
I mean, listen, dude, you got a lot of money coming off the books going into free agency next year. Who knows what this team's going to do? Who knows what this team's going to do in the next 10 games? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows where they're going to be? All this, all the one important thing is, yes, I don't want to mess with the chemistry of the team right now, because the chemistry of the team right now is perfect. Perfect. You let it go. You let it ride. You don't mess with the recipe. You let it go, And then like when a trade deadline goes, because this streak is, as much as we're enjoying this, as amazing as it is only going to last for another like 20, 40 games, something like that. So after that's done, they're going to have to do some heavy thinking, because everything is great right now. Everything is roses, but you get into playoff hockey, and I tell you one thing, man, I would have loved to have a guy like Tkachuk in a game like last night, where you have like a middle winger who's just tough as nails. But
well, Tkachuk was in the game last night. He was just on the other team. That's the only
wrong
that's the only thing.
Wrong
Tkachuk. But hey, I mean, again, if you brought in Matthew Tkachuk or Johnny Gaudreau, then it may cause some issues elsewhere with other guys that we have that are pending free agents. You may think about Tatar. Yeah, but Tatar's been a good locker room guy.
Yeah, I actually like him for this team. I think he's been great for this team.
I was harsh on him at the beginning of the season, but yeah, dude is hustling, and he plays hard every game.
Especially when you got Nemitz coming up in the next year. It's just to have that fellow countryman on the roster. The same way with what happened with Nico Hischier,
and
traded for
Siegenthaler's Siegenthaler's contract goes up next year as well. It doesn't just stay flat. Like that's why Marino's is such a steal, because Marino's contract is like a flat one, right? Isn't he just like 4.4? 4.4 for those years. Yeah, Siegenthaler gets a raise.
In terms of the cap, he's 4.4.
Dougie is what, 9 million?
He's high. Yeah, something like that.
Somewhere around there?
Yeah.
You got to figure out what you want to do with Blackwood.
Graves is coming off the books.
Graves coming off. You got to figure out what you want to do with him. You got to figure out what you want to do with Miles Wood. There's a lot there. So I'm just saying, like, the thoughts of it are really enticing, but does that really screw things up in the long run? Because if you want to keep him, you're going to have to pay a pretty price, because, this is the last year of his contract. I think he is an RFA, though. He's not. Yes, I don't know if he's a UFA or if he's
an RFA. He's an RFA.
Okay. So you can put in like the qualifying offer and all those things. So there's ways around it. And listen, I'm just trying to be, the old quote unquote devil's advocate over here and just play the other side of it. That's all.
Is it going to be crazy when Jesper Bratt is making more than Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier? Because it's trending in that direction.
If it happens, it happens.
I mean, if it happens, it happens.
Well, Dougie Hamilton.
But I mean, opt out, isn't he? Yeah, Dougie's already making more, so yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's different. Dougie's like he's a top tier defenseman coming in. Like this is a line mate.
Then
I mean,
he should have gave Jesper the money he wanted. They should have gave Jesper the money he wanted, because you know what? He's probably going to end up getting more after this year is done. So, that is what it is. Brad bet on himself. He Aaron judged it, and I think he made the right move for himself. And the Devils are, they're like, oh, let's sign your little brother. Let's get your little brother into the system. Hey, come on, Jesper. Don't go look anywhere. Hey, over here. Stay here. And we need Jesper Bratt. I think we do.
We do.
And listen, I would be excited about the idea of bringing in Timo as well. Like having that, top, I mean, that's what I think Alexander Holtz is projected to be. So if you do make a trade for team, I think Holtz might be a part of it. But I don't think you would get away with just trading Damon Severson, who also has a larger. I think what's Damon Severson's contract?
6'5", I think, or something like that.
He's in the sixes, right? So he's actually making more.
Sixes, I believe.
Yeah.
No,
but I don't think
in the fours. No.
I don't think it's in the fours.
Is he in the fours now? Or is that what we were talking about? He would be asking for in the sixes for his to be re-signed.
On a cap.
I can't remember.
4.5. Thank you.
He is 4.5. Yeah. So
Thank you, Casey.
Damon-
4.5.
Yeah.
4.5.
Wait,
He's
wait,
a
whoa, whoa,
UFA.
whoa, whoa! Why don't you thank me? I said he's in the 4s.
No, because I didn't get a hard number from you. I maybe in the 4s. It's not an answer.
He's actually 4.1 right now. He's 4.1, and he's going to be a UFA. Ryan Graves right now is at 3.1, and he's a UFA. Siegenthaler jumps from 1.1 this year to 3.4 next year.
That's not a huge jump, though.
Still,
And Kevin Ball is an RFA as well.
And we still got to pay that
So if you-
scumbag Kovalchuk.
Kovalchuk, yeah, just a little bit longer. That's almost done. But Bernier eventually is going to come off a long-term injured reserve, and he's $4 million. Oh, he's a UFA after this year as well.
Yeah.
Palat, don't forget we got Palat on the, that's another $6 million right there.
Yeah.
He signed long-term. Eric Halla is only a 1-year deal. Tatar is coming off after this year at 4.5. Do you try and bring him back? I'm not sure. Who else is an RFA? Jesper Boquist is an RFA after this year. Nathan Bastian, Fabian Zetterlund, Sharon Govich.
If the cap goes up, I
Man,
Mr.
that
Moo
cap
guy.
needs to go up. I would
It
love for
does
the
need
cap
to
to go
go
up
up.
already. It does.
You got to look at they have to look at the
these
TV
guys'
deal
salaries
with
are going up.
They look at the TV deal with ESPN. And how did it not bump it like an additional,
I don't know.
X amount of money?
I don't know.
Like,
They need to because it's going to be a struggle to sign these guys because the salaries are going up, but the cap has just been like stagnant. Something that definitely needs to happen. But I don't know. The NHL has this crazy, collective bargaining agreement.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
You look at,
But either
you look
way,
at, like,
it's going to be an issue that they run into because just what we're talking about, like Timo, he's making 6 now as an RFA. He's probably going to get 7, 8, maybe 9, depending if he gets another 30-goal season. Those are salaries that are going up. It used to be like $6 million was the tops. Now that's like kind of your base for your your top 6 players.
And rightfully so, because you look at other leagues and some guys are, the NBA is different because, you have shorter benches and you don't have a lot of guys on your roster. So you can afford to have like somebody that makes like $50 million in 2 years and whatever, something crazy. They also are one of the biggest leagues in the entire world and make money hand over fist. And that's something that the NHL needs to do a better job of, is marketing the players, marketing the game, and growing the game. I know they're doing like a lot of international things like at the beginning of the season, but you have to grow the game to be able to build your fan base, your TV fan base, and things like that. Start getting those advertising dollars in there, and then you could start to see the NHL really take off and do some great things. I know. Looking at,
and you would think so too, because look at like a Nico Hischier or a Timo, like you have people from Switzerland and from Sweden and from Germany, not just Canada and the United States. You have people from all around the world that are playing in this league. Czechoslovakia, Russia. We know there's a lot of things going on in Russia right now that we won't talk about, but still, but you have places where you could be marketing this game that I 100% agree with you. I think they're kind of missing out on some of that stuff abroad as well, where, you see how big the NBA is in like China and in France and stuff like that, the French basketball leagues. Obviously the NFL is huge everywhere, but that's a whole different story. And those guys can just get cut at any point and any time. And it's just like, well, sorry, we signed you for this $50 million contract, but we don't want to pay it anymore. We're going to cut you instead. So peace. So that's all these leagues are different. But yeah, I think that is something that they should really look into as well. I think that's a really good point that you bring up, because the league is always talking about revenue. The ratings aren't fantastic, for the TNT games and the I don't know how they're doing on ESPN. And that could be that because they're on ESPN Plus. I know I think they have been putting games though on ESPN2 and stuff like that now. So that's a good step for them to get it back out there. And it's unfortunate because ESPN kind of, when the contracts happened, when the NHL left, ESPN was just like, all right, well, screw you. We're just not going to report about your league at all on SportsCenter and everything else like we used to. So See ya. Goodbye, NHL tonight. Goodbye, all that, And
it sucks, too, because there's so many good things that got killed off when that all happened. Like you said, NHL Tonight, that was like a great segment. I'm hoping that the NHL, God, if Connor McDavid had a personality, man, oh man, would we be in good shape. But that guy is as bland as a bag of bread. He is.
But also, look at the NHL Network. NFL Network, MLB Network, the NBA Network, those are all like standard with most cable companies. Like the NHL Network, you have to get that with like the sports package,
Yep.
Dude,
I can't even watch
tough.
MSG on my TV right now. Still.
Yeah.
That's and that's a joke in itself. And I know we're getting towards the end here, but I mean maybe I'll save that for my closing minute or whatever, my final thought. This is my final thought on MSG and the NHL and that stupid situation, Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, listen.
Why don't you
tomorrow,
because we're getting overtime anyway.
Yeah, we are. Tomorrow, let's hope we keep the good times rolling, man. Let's keep this. The Devils keep going. You look for number 13.
How about 13? A baker's dozen? 13,
How about a baker's dozen? What?
Just having another heart attack. How many is that for you, Carl? That makes a baker's dozen for me.
He's a kid. Who would win in a fight, Dicka or a Hurricane? Hurricane's name is Hurricane Dicka.
Dicka. Now, what if Dicka was driving the bear bus in the Daytona 500? No. The bear bus is Dicka driving? Of course Dicka's driving. Then I got to go bear bus.
Bear bus. Old school SNL.
I love when Farley spits out like the whole rack of ribs when he's joking. He spits out. Who had the Polish sausage?
That's me over here. I got the Polish sausage. Anyways, yeah, dude. I guess my final thought will be that is it's been so frustrating last year and this year that I've had to watch the Devils. If they're not on ESPN Plus or if they're not on Hulu, I have to watch it on my phone because I can't get the stupid MSG network. And how this isn't like been resolved or how people don't talk about this is beyond me. I mean, like they've been blacked out, and it's not just the Devils, it's the Devils, Rangers, Islanders, Knicks, and I think that's it, and MSG. But nobody seems to talk about it. Nobody seems to give a crap that you can't watch the team locally. And I mean, like, you got to figure there's a good percentage of people that have Comcast as a cable network that follows your team. How are you letting all that revenue just go out the window? How are you letting all those numbers go out the window in whatever stupid argument this is? Like, whatever they're doing, either the Devils need to switch over to somewhere like Yes or SNY, or they need to get away from MSG, or they need to get this figured out. Just get away from MSG. Go somewhere else. Yep. Go to the Yes Network. You used to have a good relationship with the Yankees. Go to SNY. Who gives a crap? Who cares? Get away from MSG. It sucks. It is the worst that we can't. I can't turn on my TV and turn on a game. It's so annoying.
I would love for them to be. And I'm a Mets fan. I don't care. Yes or SNY. Just anywhere other than. Can we bring back Sports Channel? Can we bring back the old Sports Channel from back in the day? Let's bring back Sports Channel. Back Sports Channel.
Ridiculous.
My final thought will be, love the idea of getting another power scoring winger type of deal, but just make sure it's the right move. In Fitzy, I trust. We've all had our moments where we were being like, what the hell are you doing? Fire Lindy Ruff already, So, what are you doing over there? How did you not get Kachuk or Gaudreau? He's made a lot of really good moves. He's been patient. Just don't sacrifice the chemistry of the team. We all had fun that one year with Taylor Hall, and then it went to crap. So just if we do bring in someone like that, I just want to make sure that it's the right person. And if Timo is the right person and we can work again with our buddy Greer, maybe it'll happen. We'll see. Again, I'm not against it. I was just trying to play, the old devil's advocate. I know. Side. So I would love the idea. I'd like the idea to see Alexander Holtz take that role. I think that's kind of why we drafted him, for that massive shot. But we've seen that before, where sometimes these high draft picks turn into trade bait for someone a little bit more established. And that is also true, is that, this team is a little bit further on now. But don't sacrifice everyone in the pipeline for one player, because we got a lot in the pipeline coming. And you never know with injuries. You never know what's going to happen in this league. We've seen it all too much these past couple years. If you're going to make that trade, don't overpay and make sure it's the right person that fits the team.
Yep. Agreed.
It's my turn.
Your turn, Sam.
Well, I'll be at American Whiskey tomorrow. Game Day Live.
Woo!
Devils After Dark. Going to be there all week doing some guinea pig testing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I hear he's going to have his own podcast for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, we're going to do some things.
Okay.
At American Whiskey.
Hope he's got his Beefalytic shirt on.
Nah, I got it right back here. Actually, oh my goodness, is coming down tomorrow. Also, our special guest, founder of SB Nation, and now with Vox Media, Tyler Blazinski is going to be our special guest for Game Day Live. He's coming from all the way from California and wants to meet up.
Is he in your Melrose Place set up over there?
Yeah, he probably has the house like Melrose Place. Not me.
He's got rich man internet, not like Scotty. Yeah.
If I turn this laptop around and you see what my apartment actually looks like, it's it's not a pretty thing. Like, the influencers, if you just see this little tiny square, and I'm not saying I'm an influencer in any way, but that's what I do. I'm like, I just give this little tiny square of my apartment. That's about it. Because that's not so impressive on the other side. Remember, I'm 90211. Not 90210. I'm on the other side.
He's on the
There's
one.
a cockroach. There's a cockroach with a knife, like trying to hold somebody up for the wallet.
Yeah. The Welcome to Beverly Hills sign is literally at the end of my block right over here. So I'm like right on the board. I'm just, on the other side of the street, I'd be in Los Angeles. So
are you near Skid Row?
No, that's in downtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's by the hotel. What's it called? The one from Netflix.
Oh yeah, the one where that chick disappeared and ended up in the water.
Yeah, you don't want to go over there. It's not fun. No, that's not a fun place. Yeah.
Well, the next time in California, just let me know where not to go.
Yeah, I'll send you in an Uber right over there, and you tell me how it is.
And
you'll know by
Sam never came back.
I'll do.
You'll know by the smell of urine that you've reached your destination.
Do a Will report from Skid Row. Anyway,
yeah.
So I'll be at American Whiskey tomorrow. Big games coming up. You got Edmonton this week, Toronto. Then you go up to Buffalo. Then you got the Capitals on that Saturday.
That's going to be a good game.
That's going to be like a redo of the previous Capitals game that the Devils played, which was their last loss as of now. And then you got the Rangers on Monday. So the Devils have a pretty tough schedule ahead, but they're a team that one game at a time, and we're going to do the same. One game at a time. And I'll be at American Whiskey tomorrow and Wednesday, and I'll try to get there on Saturday. It all depends how fast I can get over there. So
I'll be here at my apartment.
Yeah, and Buffalytics. Dave Singer.
And probably Winston having another tantrum. As soon as any time the podcast starts, he's just like, "Screw you, Dad. I want attention now," and just barks incessantly.
Anyway, want to thank all those watching, listening, dropping the podcast at midnight, and thank you for listening. We're near record territory with the podcast. I sent you guys the numbers this morning. They were just unbelievable numbers. Downloads, views, subscriptions.
Subscribes.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the subscriptions, everybody. We really, really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. But anyway, till next time, let's go Devils.